Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 27 of Takedown. This one is titled Attack Birdo. Heart pounding in your chest, you kept as low as possible while you and Magata picked your way through the sticks surrounding the perimeter of the nest, listening with every fibre of your being to hear if Pants was on the return. All is quiet, you whispered, almost inaudibly, to Magata behind you. He nodded. I don't think Pants has come back yet. We're still invisible, so let's use the most of the spell before it times out, he said, gesturing for you to keep going. You neared the top and gingerly looked up and over the side of the nest, a big, see-through blue dome encasing the top of it. Well, this is the one, Magata whispered from beside you as he pulled himself up to have a look. Inside the dome were a number of players. Some were sitting down with their heads in their hands, some were aimlessly walking around pressing their palms up to the inside of the dome, and others were lying down in the fetal position, crying. Oh, you whispered sadly, we need to help them. Imagine being controlled by a dome, unable to do as you please, wondering if today would be your last day. Magata hummed beside you. Suddenly you remembered Goha and their words. I no longer wish to be controlled. You hung your head with shame. I did the exact same thing to Goha, you thought dejectedly. I have a lot of apologising to do, but will they listen to me after all I did to them? It won't be long until On and Butterfly get here, Magata said softly as he swiped his menu open to check the time. When will Pants get back? You whispered to him. Probably right when we don't want her to return, Magata said with a chuckle. Just keep an eye out anyway. You nodded. How long now? You asked Magata, referring to On and Butterfly's return. Right about now, Magata said lowly, a black and electric blue cloud forming just beside him as the blue swirled like lightning around the ball-shaped cloud. People in the nest looked over immediately when they saw the cloud outside the dome, and their screams of excitement could be heard loud and clear when they saw the number one player, Butterfly, emerge from the darkness, his hooded form looking ominously cool as he stepped out and looked up at the dome. That was quite an entrance, Magata said with a laugh as he removed his cloak of invisibility. A second wave of screaming assaulted your ears as people recognised Magata and announced their excitement of his presence. Then yet another loud screech as On stumbled out of the cloud behind Butterfly and took a step back in surprise. Whoa! She exclaimed with shock. We brought back up, Butterfly stated to the trap players, gesturing to various other players who were now emerging from the cloud behind him and On. More cheers erupted as the players inside the dome recognised some of the players outside the dome. Some were friends, some were guild members, all equipped with necessary potions to set them free. Who's going in? Magata asked Butterfly. I will, Butterfly replied, pushing the hood off his head and causing another round of fangirling from the crowd. He opened his inventory and pulled out a Defy potion, then drank it, walking through the walls of the slightly glitching dome with no issue. He was mobbed instantly on the other side and started handing out potions, letting players go free one by one. Better keep an eye out for Pants, Magata said to you, as you remained invisible. I'll get to a higher lookout point and keep watch, you said, startling a few players nearby when you spoke, as they hadn't expected anyone else to be there since they couldn't see you. Who's that? Someone whispered to their friend. I don't know, they're invisible. Maybe they're a strong player or something? The other whispered back, looking around wildly to try and locate you again. You didn't speak again, just made your way up to a higher point to look out for Pants while the players worked to set their friends free below. Players close to the end of their life were given food and water to get their health bar back up, and you smiled at the sudden camaraderie that was being shown. Suddenly a prehistoric scream in the distance drew your attention, and you saw Pants approaching her nest. Pants is coming! You hollered, startling a few more players when you yelled from nowhere. Saddle up, folks! Magata called to Butterfly. Time to be heroes! Yeah! On called with excitement from outside the dome, imitating her English teacher, Present Mike. Stay incognito! Magata called to you, causing more people to look around to try and find you. Who is Pants? A random player asked Butterfly as he prepared to leave the nest. Her, the top player replied, drawing his chain whip sword and pointing it at the rapidly approaching pterodactyl. Oosh! The player gasped, fearing he was going to be captured again and trapped inside the nest. Get everybody out! Magata called to the players inside who were still handing out potions. If you have teleport cubes, use them now! People started vanishing, left, right and centre as panic set in. You ready, Butterfly? Magata called to the top player as he walked to a good spot in the nest and assumed a fight stance, his calm and collected form showing his lack of fear of the fearsome winged pterodactyl. "Ready," he called back in a confident tone. "Time to take this monster down." "Hell yeah, baby, you go fight that bird!" On shouted from outside the dome. You watched as Pants approached, her red eyes shining bright with fury as she locked onto her target in the dome, one lone player standing still. "I need to make sure I don't get hit by anything, so I can stay invisible and help them if possible," you thought as you ducked down, just as Pants descended overhead and dove for Butterfly, her terrifyingly huge mouth open as she aimed to bite him in half. "No you don't!" Magata yelled, creating a fireball of sorts to throw at the pterodactyl, shooting it directly at its head and getting it in the eye with enough force to throw it off course and miss eating Butterfly. The remaining players, who were still receiving aid from On, shrieked in fear when they saw that the pterodactyl's mouth had barely missed Butterfly, but he seemed unfazed and just swiftly stepped to the side and swung his whip, ripping out one of the sharp teeth from the leathery monster's jaw and throwing it out of the nest. "That's one down," he said as he flicked his whip and retracted it, preparing for the next attack. Butterfly indeed is very, very cool. Stay tuned for the next chapter tomorrow. See you then.